Imagine walking into a restaurant after a long, tiring day. You are not expecting anything special. You only order dinner. Then, before you even sit down, someone notices something about you. They remember your name. They listen to a small comment you make. They do something thoughtful that was not on the menu and not recorded by the way. For a moment, you feel seen. That feeling is at the heart of Will Guidara, Unreasonable Hospitality. The book is not only about restaurants, it is about how people can create unforgettable experiences by caring more than expected. Guidara, who helped lead 11 Madison Park in the New York City during its rises to become one of the most celebrated restaurants in the world, argues that hospitality is not a department, it is a mindset. The main idea is simple but powerful. Service is what you do for people. Hospitality is how you make people feel. A waiter can bring food to the table. A hotel receptionist can check in a guest. A manager can answer an email. A teacher can deliver a lecture. A doctor can explain a treatment. These services, but hospitality begins when we add attention, generosity, empathy, and imaginations. It begins when we ask, how can I make this person feel genuinely cared for? Guida's message connects strongly with American, British, European audiences because modern life often feels fast, automated, and impersonal. We have apps, delivery platforms, online forms, and AI chatbots and self-checked automations. These tools are useful, but they can also make people feel like a numbers. Unreasonable hospitality reminds us that human warmth is still powerful. In many industries, it may be the biggest competitive advantage. Part 1. From excellence to experience. At the beginning of the story, Guidara describes the world of fine dining, where every detail matters in a restaurant like 11 Madison Park. We guests expect excellent food, skilled services, beautiful design, and technical perfection. But technical excellence alone is not enough to create an emotional memory. A perfect plate of food can impress someone. A perfect act of hospitality can stay with them for life. We did learn that the best restaurants were not simply feeding people. They were creating a moments. They were building stories that guests could take home and repeat. The meal ended, but the feeling remained. The idea applies for beyond hospitality businesses. A university is not only delivering education, it is shaping a student's confidence and future. A company is not only selling a product, it is building a trust. A healthcare provider is not only giving treatment, it's only helping someone feel safe at a vulnerable time. A leader is not only assigning work, they're creating an environment where people feel valued. The lesson is that excellence should not stop at the task. Excellence becomes memorable when it becomes personal. Takeaway. The book asks us to move from what do we provide to how do people feel after interacting with us. Part 2. The difference between service and hospitality. One of the clearest idea is in the book. The difference between services and hospitality is service is practical. It is the action. It answered the question, do we complete the task? Hospitality is emotional. It answered the question, did the person feel cared for? For example, in a restaurant, service means the food arrives on time, the table is clean, and the order is correct. Hospitality means the guest feels welcomed, understood, and special. In an office, service means sending the report before the deadline. Hospitality means making the communication clear, respectful, and helpful. In education, service means teaching the lesson. Hospitality means noticing when a student is struggling and giving encouragement. In customer support, service means solving the issue. Hospitality means reducing the customer's stress during the process. Guidara points is not that service is unimportant. In fact, excellent service is the foundation. You cannot create great hospitality if the basics are broken. But once the basics are strong, hospitality creates the emotional difference. A good business asks, did we deliver? A great business also asks, did we make them feel better? Takeaway. Service can be measured in tasks. Hospitality is measured in memories. Part 3. Making people feel seen. A major theme of unreasonable hospitality is the power of noticing. Guidara and his teams train themselves to listen carefully to guests. Sometimes the most meaningful opportunities come from small comments. A guest might say they had never tried a New York street hot dog. Another might mention a birthday, a proposal, a family trip, or a childhood memory. The team look for these human details and turn them into personal moments. The lesson is not only that every business must do dramatic things. The lesson is that people reveal the what matters to them if we listen closely. In daily life, we often miss this opportunity because we are focused on our own agenda. We listen only enough to respond. We notice only what is required. But hospitality begins when we become alert to the person in front of us. This matter is leadership too. A manager who notices when an employee is overwhelmed can offer support before burnout happens. A teacher who notices when a student has lost confidence can change that student experience. A friend who remembers a detail from a previous conversation can make someone feel genuinely valued. To make people feel seen, we must slow down enough to notice them. Key takeaway. Attention is one of the most generous gifts we can give. Part 4. Being unreasonable in the right way. The word unreasonable is important. Guidara does not mean being careless, wasteful, or unrealistic. He means going beyond what people reasonably expected or expect. Reasonable hospitality means it's the standard. Unreasonable hospitality creates surprise. For example, a hotel may reasonably provide a clean room. Unreasonable hospitality might be remembering a guest performance preference and preparing the room before they ask. A company may reasonably answer a complaint. Unreasonably hospitality might turn a bad experience into a moment of trust. A leader may reasonably thank the team at the end of the project. Unreasonably hospitality might recognize each person's specific contributions. The power of unreasonable hospitality is that it feels personal. It says, we didn't have to do this, but we wanted to. In modern Western markets, customer often expects efficiency. But when efficiency is combined with warmth, the experience becomes rare. People, people remember businesses and individuals who cared beyond obligation. However, good ideas also require judgment. Unreasonable hospitality should not damage the team, ignore costs, or become performative. It should be thoughtful, sustainable, and unauthentic. The goal is not to impress people for attention. The goal is to care in a way that feels real. Key takeaway. Unreasonable hospitality is not about doing expensive things, it is about doing meaningful things. Part 5. Culture makes hospitality possible. Guidara makes it clear that unforgettable guest experience don't happen by accident. They come from culture. A team cannot deliver warmth to guests if the team itself feels ignored, exhausted, or disrespected. Hospitality must begin inside the organization. Leaders must treat their people with the same way care they want their people to show customers. This is one of the strongest leadership lessons in the book. If employees feels like machines, they feel struggle to make customers feel human. If employees feel trusted, valued, or inspired, they're more likely to create a generous experience for others. Culture is built through repeated behavior. It is built by the what leaders prize, what they tolerate, what they model, what they protect. If leaders only rewarded speed and profit, the team will focus only on speed and profit. If leaders reward thoughtfulness, creativity, and care, hospitality becomes part of the identity. A culture of hospitality also gives people permission to act. Employees need to know they are trusted to make small decisions that help customers. Without that trust, they may follow the rules but miss moments. Key takeaway. Hospitality company is built from inside and out. Part 6. Standard and arms must work together. One reason the book is powerful is that it does not reject excellence. Guidara does not say, just be nice and everything will work. He understands that high standards matter. In a great restaurant, the food must be excellent, timing must be precise, the room must be organized, the team must be trained. Without discipline, hospitality becomes messy. But standards without arms can feel cold. Arms without standards can be feel unreliable. The best experiences combine both. The balance is useful in many fields. In healthcare, patients need professional competence and compassion. In education, students need clear teaching and human encouragement. In business, clients need reliable delivery and respectful communication. In leadership, teams need accountability and care. Guidara's story shows that the highest level of hospitality is not casual kindness. It is intentional kindness supported by systems, training, and discipline. Key takeaway. Excellence earns trust. Hospitality earns loyalty. Part 7. Creating stories people want to share. A memorable experience often becomes a story. People don't usually tell friends. The process was acceptable. They tell stories about moments that surprised them, moved them, and helped them. Guidara understood that hospitality could create stories. When guests experienced something personal and unexpected, they left with more than a meal. They left with a memory they wanted to share. This is important for businesses, but it is also important for personal influence. People remember how we made them feel during important moments. They remember who helped them when they were anxious. They remember who celebrated them. They remember who noticed what other missed. For brands, this means marketing is not only what a company says about itself. Marketing also comes from stories customers tell after interacting with the company. A business can spend heavily on advertising, but one genuine act of hospitality can create deeper trust than a polished campaign. Key takeaway. The experience don't And at the door, they travel through stories. Part 8, Lessons for Leadership. Unreasonable Hospitality is also a leadership book. Guidara shows that leaders set the emotional temperature of an organization. If leader is careless, the team becomes careless. If leader is generous, the team learns generosity. If leaders listens, the team learns to listen. A strong leader creates clarity. People need to know what the mission is. In Guidara case, the mission was not only to be the best restaurant, but to become the best at making people feel welcome and cared for. A leader also a leader also creates energy. Hospitality requires emotional effort. It can be trying to care deeply, especially under pressure. Leaders must keep reminding the team why the work matters. Another leadership lesson is empowerment. People closest to the guest or customer often see the best opportunities. If they must ask permission for every small act, many opportunities disappear. Hospitality culture gives them members confidence to act with a good judgment. Key takeaways. Leadership is not only managing performance, it's a shaping what people believe is possible. Part 9. Lesson for everyday life. Although the book comes from the restaurant world, its lessons are useful in ordinary life. In family life, unreasonable hospitality may mean doing something thoughtful before being asked. In friendship, it may mean remembering what someone is going to through the checking and checking. In teaching, it may mean helping a student feel capable. In workplace, it may mean making a colleague and easier. In customer service, it may mean trying a frustrated person with a patience rather than defensive. The idea is not to become perfect. The idea is to become more intentional. Ask yourself, who is in front of me? What do they need? And how can I make this interaction more human? What a small action could make them feel respected? These questions can transform ordinary moments. A kind email, a remember name, thoughtful message, a claim response, or a small extra effort can make a difference. Hospitality is not limited to hotels and restaurants. It is a way moving through the world. Part 10. The main takeaways. The first takeaway is the hospitality is emotional. People may forget the detail of what we did, but remember what we made them feel. The second takeaway is the small details matter. A small observation can become a powerful moment when we act on it. The third takeaway is the great hospitality requires both heart and structure. Kindness must be supported by systems and training, teamwork, and leadership. The fourth takeaway is the culture begins internally. The teams can only give consistent care when they also receive care, trust, and respect. The fifth takeaway is that being unreasonable does not always mean spending more money. Often it means spending more attention. The final takeaway is that hospitality can become a competitive advantage in a world, but that often feels rushed and impersonal. Key to it, the book is challenge us to make generosity practical. Final reflection. Unreasonable Hospitality is a book about restaurant, but more importantly, it is a book about people. Guidara shows that success is not built only through products, process, and performance. It is built through moments of care. A meal becomes more memorable when it becomes personal. A service becomes meaningful when it makes someone feel unseen. A company becomes loved when it treats people as a human being. No interactions. The book message is especially relevant today. Many industries are becoming faster, more digital, and more automated. Speed matters, but speeds alone so does not create loyalty. Convenience matters. But convenience alone does not create emotional connection. People still want warmth, and they still want dignity. They still want someone to notice unreasonable hospitality, ask us to look at our work differently. Instead of asking only, how can I complete this task? We can ask, how can I make this experience better for the person receiving it? The question can change a restaurant, it can change a business, it can change a classroom, it can change in hospital, team, family, and a friendship. The strongest message of this book is this: do the ordinary things well, then add humility. When we combine excellence with generosity, discipline with warmth, and service with genuine care, we create experience people may remember. There is the power of unreasonable hospitality. Thank you.